Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your man, Tim Swain. Listen, I'm excited about this opportunity in agriculture. And today, I am going to sit down with the head of sales of an amazing organization, Grow For Me. Lorraine, hey, I'm excited that you decided to take some time and just talk with me. I've heard a lot about Grow For Me, and when I started hearing about it, I said, you know what, I got to sit down with somebody to get the 411 so I can get that information out to the people. So first and foremost, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem, no problem. So please, again, just tell us your role in the organization and give us a very brief overview of Grow For Me, because we'll get into details later.
Okay. So I'm head of sales for Grow For Me. I sit on the executive team. There's a group of 4 founders, and I am part of the extension of that. So part of the execs.
Now, so let's back all the way up, right? For a person who's watching this for the first time, they've never heard of Grow For Me, they have no idea what it is. Break it down for those individuals. What is Grow For Me? How did it start? And just give a high-level overview of the organization.
Absolutely. So Grow For Me is an agri-tech startup based in Ghana. So we're predominantly focused really on, I see it as the Uber for agriculture. So you think about an Uber, right? You request an Uber, you don't own a car, you don't know the driver, right? But you're getting to a destination. So you're using someone else's car and another driver to get to a destination. Grow For Me is basically like that, right? Grow For Me is almost like you don't own the farm, you don't know the farmer, but rather we're connecting the two. So we're connecting the farmers to you who's interested in, whatever your destination may be, whether it's profits, whether it's social impact, we're basically providing you the platform to connect those two together. So Grow For Me is essentially a crowd farming platform. We're really about enabling anyone, wherever you are in the world. You could be in the US, you can be in the UK, you can be in Europe, Australia, wherever in the world you are, to be able to farm without getting these dirty.
Okay.
So we're all about really allowing anyone the capacity or the ability to get involved in agriculture. Agriculture is growing in Ghana. If you look at just through the pandemic itself, the GDP in Ghana, the economy shrunk, but the proportion in which agriculture took within the GDP was actually growing. So for me, it just shows me that there's a humongous opportunity in the agriculture space. And we're really all about plugging the gap when it comes to food security. We want to make food security accessible for everyone, right, across Africa. In Africa, there is likely to be, by 2050, 2.5 billion people. Right now, there's 1.2 billion individuals. We can't even feed the mouths of those 1.2 billion individuals. Why? Because there's not enough food going around. So we want to help to make sure we plug this gap by putting in the investment required and marrying, people that are outside and want to invest in this opportunity to actually help to plug that gap. So that's what we're about.
So you mentioned that, by the year 2050, right, there's going to be almost double the number. But yet we can't feed the people that are here right now. So for someone watching this who doesn't really know too much about geography, about the continent, even people who's in Ghana here, how is it possible that you can have all of this land, but you don't have enough food for people? How can that even happen?
That is actually the point, and that's actually why Grow For Me started, right? Grow For Me started, you spoke about the land. Grow For Me started when the 4 founders, they were actually going on a trip to Nigeria, and you're talking about maybe people who don't necessarily understand the geography of Africa. But across West Africa alone, the landmass is huge, right? The 4 founders decided to take a bike journey to Nigeria. And that is like, I can't even quantify how many hours that would be. But they did that to raise some money for a good cause.
Okay.
And as they did that, they cycled through the northern parts of Ghana before they were trying to travel out. and they realized so much land was out there being unused.
Yeah.
We call it virgin land.
Uh-huh.
So you're right, there's so much land that's underused, right? And a lot of the food that we eat comes from that land. I mean, if we're able to cultivate that land, that will provide the crops in order for us to then for it to be processed for us to eat. So they were like, wow, there's so much underused land here. What's the reason why there's so much virgin land out there? And the main reason is because of the lack of investment in the agriculture space. Now, if you think about it, as I said, right, 2.5 billion people are going to be in Africa in 2050. Now, today, when you think about a farmer, let me ask you, when you think about a farmer, how old, when you see a farmer in your mind, how old do you see that farmer being?
Let me give you my experience from years ago. When I thought of farmer, I love a show called Queen Sugar.
I love Queen Sugar!
You love Queen Sugar? So, my whole understanding of I'm on season 5, by the way.
I know it just came out recently, right?
Yeah, I finished season 5 all the way. You gotta watch it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. But actually, when I started watching Queen Sugar, what it did was it made me go back even in the States and ask questions about farming and even black farmers. But prior to this, I thought farming was like, some old people,
Right.
Or some country person, what we call country in the U.S., hey, I'm going out to the farm and picking some tomatoes.
That's it.
That's what I thought about.
Yeah.
But Queen Sugar changed that for me. Ralph Angel.
But you're right. But your mentality before Queen Sugar was actually what most people would think. They'll think about a farmer as being, old age, middle-aged guy, right? So, but the issue has been that especially when it comes to farming, the youth aren't seeing the money that can be made in it. So what happens is you as a farmer, your children end up running away from it because they don't see the money to be made. So they'll run they could be in the suburbs, they could be running to the city to go and do an office job or go and do another job where they think there's going to be more value or more money that can be made from it, right? So what happens is if you've got all these farmers and all their children are running to the city, there's going to be this inevitable gap, right, where there's not going to be any successors of farmers. And that's going to then cause a lack of food being produced because we rely on these farmers.
Okay, I get you.
So if you think about it as a chain, if there's not enough money because these successors aren't seeing the money, the farmers are going to have succession planning. There's not going to be enough food that's going to be made to feed the people that we're going to see in 2050. So we need to plug the gap with investing into agriculture so that those virgin land that we're seeing across Ghana, across Nigeria, across West Africa, across Africa, can be cultivated and utilized to plug the gap where we need to feed the mouths of the people that are likely to be on the continent by 2050.
Wow.
So that's really how, what growth for me is all about.
Okay, so now walk me through the process. Let's say I'm a person, I'm hearing this, or even I've heard of Grow For Me, but now this interview has solidified it. I think I want to invest in agriculture. I don't know where to start. I know there's an opportunity, but I don't really have a background in it.
Sure.
Where does Grow For Me come in for a person like myself that may be, with that scenario?
So, excellent question. For me, I actually came on board exactly like that, right? I was so excited by what's going on in Ghana, what's going on in Africa, and I'm based in the UK, so I'm British-born Ghanaian. But hearing about agriculture and it being the green gold, right? I wanted to get involved in it, right? So, but rather than going off and going to go find land, in Ghana, land titles and finding land and finding the right farmer that you can trust is a nightmare, to say the least, right? What Grow For Me does is takes the pain out of that, right, and does it on your behalf. So I actually came on board Grow For Me as a customer first and foremost.
Wow.
So my journey, I wear two hats. I'm a customer first, I see as first, and then secondly, I'm a member of the team, I'm an exec on the team. And I think for me, it gives me a perspective that the customers do come first in what we do, right? So if you want to come on board, Grow For Me, you have some disposable income, you want to kind of spend some money, you've got some spare money sitting around, and you want to get involved in farming. What we do is essentially, we have a number of crops or a number of farmers that we work with. These farmers are located across Ghana, northern region, eastern region, western region. They are what we call smallholder farmers. And by smallholder farmers, these are the people that don't typically have access to financing or investment that they might have other way, or the larger scale farmers would have, or what they call outgrowers for technical terms. Now, what we do is we work with those smallholder farmers to marry the sponsorship to them. So these guys are probably growing things like maize, soybean, pineapple, rice, right? And we sell them by the unit. So we take a unit of crop, and a crop is equivalent of, 1 unit is equivalent of 1/8 of an acre. And essentially on our website, when you visit growforme.com, you'll see the crops that are available to sponsor. And you can sponsor a crop from as little as $35, £25,
Is it
200.
a month, a year,
It's
one time?
One
or-
time,
Okay.
right? And so depending on your budget, you can say, okay, so one unit of crop, depending on what I'm giving you an example here. For instance, soybean at the time of going on the website could be for 1 unit the equivalent of 200 cedis, which is roughly $35.
Okay.
$35 is 1 unit. If you want to, and 1 unit is 1/8 of an acre. If you wanted 1 acre, you'll multiply that by 8.
Okay.
Right? If you had a budget of $1,000, you will then pick as many units that are equivalent to your budget. So you'll select how many units you want. We will then take that funding is the cost of production. So that money that you are sponsoring is what the farmers would use to grow the crops. Now, once the crops are grown, we basically supervise the whole entire process. We have extension officers, we have a number of people that track and manage. We use satellite imagery as well to monitor the farms as well. And what will happen is that the farmers will grow, they will harvest, and we will facilitate then the trading of the crops and the commodities. And that then will generate the profits to be returned back to the sponsor. And what happens is we're a profit sharing model. So we're not an we're not an investment firm. Investment is where you're essentially buying an asset, right? You don't buy in the farm, but rather we have a profit sharing model. So you eat, we eat at Grow For Me, and the farmer eats. We're all sharing the pie. And what it means is you will get 50% of the profits, the farmer gets 35%, and Grow For Me gets 15%.
50%.
You will get 50% of the
50.
profit. 50.
Wow.
So let's do an example,
Yes.
right? Let's say you, just for the sake of argument, let's say you sponsored $100.
Okay.
That $100 went into farming, and we generated $200 because we went to go and trade the crops. The rice, maybe we bought some rice, or we grew the rice. It took maybe 5-6 months to grow. We went to go and sell it. We traded it on the Ghana Commodity Exchange, which we are a registered broker, and that generated $200. That $200, your $100 comes back to you, but the $100 profit, right, will be split. So you will get $50, the farmer will get the 35%, and we Grow For Me will get the 15%. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, yes.
So you, at the end of it, will go back home with $150, right, from the $100 that you've invested. That's an illustrative example,
Yes,
right?
yes, I get you.
We always give a range for what the returns will be. We can never guarantee you that return.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like any form of investment, you can go and buy a house, so you can't guarantee what the house value is going to be worth. You can go and put your money in the stock market. You can go and buy some stocks in Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. You don't know what's going to be.
I think coronavirus showed us that anything can happen at
Anything
any
can
time.
happen, right.
So in terms of the investment and the return on the investment, typically, what is the time frame that a person may be asking?
Great
How long does
question.
it take to see those profits?
Great question. Depends on the crop that you purchase, right? So soybean, for example, takes 5 to 6 months till harvest, and your return will come back, if there is a profit,
Yes.
within 2 months after the harvest period.
Okay.
If it's pineapple takes 14 months till harvest. So the moment we grow to the moment we finish farming, we will then spend about 2 months trading, and then within the 2 months time frame, you will get back your proceeds if there's any due to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then, now the question then becomes, you talked about management and quality control a little bit. Now I want to get a little bit more into that, right? I always say this because I recognize people watching. I recognize there's so many stereotypes, especially about the continent. Anytime you're talking about doing business in Africa, there's always this overly trepidatious attitude.
Right.
Quality control. How do I know that the people are going to do what they said they're going to do, and I'll get what I said you were going to give me?
Great question. And we get that question all the time, right? I think there are a number of things that we do to, again, I can't use the word guarantee, but to control the risks or to mitigate the risks, as many as possible. Number one, we're a crowd farming platform. So what that means is that we don't just sponsor one farm. So let's say, for instance, everyone watching this video all sponsors $1,000, and there are, I don't know, 100. Let's just say there's 100,000 people, $100,000 that was raised, right? That $100,000 will be distributed amongst different farms. We don't just put it into one farm, because you're right, anything can happen, right? But what we do is we make sure we do a lot of due diligence on the farmers. So the farmers, before they actually sign up with Grow For Me, we go through a due diligence process. And what that means is we check, number one, how long we've been growing that crop on that land for. Because a lot of people, when we spoke about land, a lot of people come to us and say, oh, I've got some virgin land, and virgin land, basically unused land. Can you use it as part of Grow For Me? And our answer is no, because we want to make sure our sponsors, we mitigate as many risks as possible. So we want to make sure that our farmers have actually grown that crop on that piece of land for a minimum of 3 cycles. On average, our farmers do about 10 before we start working with them. But we want to make sure at least they have experience growing that crop. We make sure that the soil, we work with them to understand the soil moisture content, right? Because you never know, you might not even be able to grow rice in that conditions. Then we also make sure that the farmer is part of some form of cooperative body. Now, I personally have had the opportunity to go and visit some of these farmers in the northern part of Ghana. I went to Tamale. We visited some farms in the Gushagu area, and there's a head of the farming community who is almost accountable to these different farmers that are local. So at least then there's some accountability, right? So when we're working with the farmers and he cheats us, there is some accountability in that community, because you can easily be, disassociated when you don't do something right? The next thing we do, we also make sure that we have satellite imagery. So we actually work with Airbus and their satellite imagery technology to actually track the crops over time. What we also do is the profit sharing model. So as I said, everyone eats only after we've traded, right? And by that, I mean, no pun intended in terms of eats, but the profit split will be, the profit will be split once we've traded. So no one has anything to gain at the beginning, right? So these are the various ways that we work in order to make sure that what we've said you will get, we are striving to make sure you get that.
Wow. And I think that's really good, because, when you come to Ghana, oftentimes, you see a lot of issues in Ghana. And I was driving to Cape Coast, and I saw all of this land. And a part of me got sad, because I came back to Accra, where you have some people in Accra that don't have food. Right? So imagine other places that are not as developed as Accra. And I said, you know what? This is why we need people who are innovative, who are creative, who can not just see a problem, but say, you know what, let me take the skills and talents that I have to do something about it, help people, make a profit, and at the same time be able to invest in opportunities that I think so many other people coming from the outside, are investing in. China's investing how much money in the whole of Africa? Right? And sometimes it's difficult for people who are living in the environment or even visit the environment to see that same opportunity. So final thing I'll say is, the question I have is, now I understand about Grow For Me. I'm excited about the opportunity. I still may be trepidatious, or I'm all in, doesn't matter. I want some more information. I want to know what I need to do. What happens from here? What can I do?
So you visit our website, growforme.com, or I'm sure there's going to be more information below the video. And essentially, once you've done that, you'll see the various crops that are available. You can, scout it out, read more about where they are, etc. Anytime you even want to visit the farms, you've got the opportunity to do that. So maybe you're not used to Ghana, maybe you've never been to Ghana before. Contact us when you arrive, and join one of our trips to go and see the farms. So everyone is more than welcome to do that. So information is on our website, information is on YouTube, Facebook, social media, etc. Or reach out to me, Lorraine at growforme.com, and I can share more information about what we do as well.
Wow. This is some really good information. I'm excited to share this opportunity with the folks that are watching. Thank you for answering the questions. I could tell you've been doing this for a while. You had all the answers, and I think it's important, because there's so many people who see an opportunity, but they just don't know where to start.
Absolutely.
And I think Grow For Me bridges that gap between I don't know and I know.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And I thank you all for watching. I'm sure you like this information. You see it. Listen, all the information is right there below. So make sure you click on those links. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like it. Until next time, peace.